I am excited to be with you again today. We are going to be talking about a couple of different things today, and I've put a little chat prompt in there. I'd love to know where you are watching from today, so if you'll pop that in there, I'd really appreciate that. I'd like to know how far out this content goes. I'd like to know where you are. And so today, let's see, I'm getting all my notifications. Everything seems to be working the right way. Yay! Yay, yay, yay. So today we're going to be talking about being busy or being purposeful. And I thought that this was especially appropriate because of the time of year this particular episode is being recorded. We're in November of 2021, and so we are headed hard and fast into the major holiday season. We've just moved past Halloween. Some people, that's the beginning of their holiday season. For me, it's Thanksgiving, and then we have Christmas, and then New Year, and then we are off to the races again. And so a lot of times during this time of year, we can find ourselves really, really busy, but not purposeful. And I thought it would be good to have a few questions about that, and let's have a conversation. One of the things that is important to know is, what do you want to take away from the season? What exactly is it that you want to look back on whenever you head into the new year, and you can look at what Thanksgiving and Christmas and the fall has been to you, and what is the most meaningful for you in that season? So the question is, what do you want to take away from the season? And every one of us has something different there. For me, last year, it was the first of the holidays without my husband after his passing. I can tell you honestly, raise my hand to my heart, I really just wanted to get through the holidays. I really wanted to be a person who could be present, but not have to really engage too much, because I wasn't sure what my emotions were going to be like. This year, I have more anticipation. It feels more like a normal, quote, year. Even though I still miss my Richard, I know that I'm doing what I mean to do, and I want to be able to show up powerfully for my children, for my family, for my friends. And so understanding what you want from this time of your life, this season of your life, whether you're watching this during a holiday season or not, it is important for you to understand what do you want from this season, either the holiday season or season of your life. For a lot of people, maybe your children are in school and you've got a lot of things going on at this time of year, but this season of your life is brand new for you, and you have different things that you want to accomplish, different ways you want to express yourself. And when you find a change in your environment, all of a sudden you can have so many opportunities for yourself right there in front of you that before you know it, you have filled your plate with all kinds of things. And I talked about that yesterday. Excuse me. Cup of coffee. I talked about this yesterday, about being able to say no so that you can say yes to the most important things. And this is just a key for life, whether it is the holiday season, the summer, kids are in school or not in school. Excuse me again, one moment. Live camera. So that is one of the big questions. What do you want to take away from the season? The other one is, how do you want to show up? Do you want to show up as the person who is pouring out more? Do you need to be a person who is receiving more? Do you want to show up joyfully? Do you want to show up meditatively? Do you want to show up authoritatively? How do you want to show up in those instances? Because it's intentional living. When you know you're going to go into a stressful situation, maybe you have an event that you always attend, but it's not necessarily the favorite thing that you do, but it's a requirement. How do you want to intentionally show up? Do you want to be a person that has this barrier up that says, don't come near me? Or do you want to be a person that has kind of an open space around you, and you allow people to step into your place, into your space, so that you can give more? It's very intentional. How do you want to show up? And that's a good question that we can ask ourselves every single day. How do I want to show up today? How do I want to show up in this meeting? How do I want to show up at this dinner? How do I want to show up at this event with my friends? How do I want to show up as a mom, as a wife, as a sister, as a daughter, as a grandmother? All of those questions that you can ask yourself, how do you want to show up? And be able to create some intention around that. And out of that intention, you can even be able to give yourself a few tasks and give yourself a little bit of information on how to purposefully show up in the way that you want to. And I just want to say right here, if this kind of content is helpful to you, I would really appreciate it if you would like my page, if you would like my video, if you would share this page with your friends and let them know that this content is something that is helpful for you. I have lots of written content over at my website, donnawoolam.com. And I've written a few books there on the website as well. So if this kind of content is something you enjoy, I do encourage you to interact with me and be part more of what's going on in this community. Question number 3, what do you want to deposit into others? So we've asked, what do you want to take away from the season that you're in? How do you want to show up in that season? But what do you want to deposit in others? Because all of us have gifts and talents and abilities and wisdom. So how do we want to deposit that into others? And that may sound like kind of a strange question, but I'll let you know that a few years ago, as I was looking over the relationship with my children and my grandchildren, I realized there were some gaps there. And I wasn't happy with those gaps. And so what I had to learn to do then was create some intention. How was I going to make myself more available and be able to pour into the lives of the people I love the most if I don't even have a relationship with them? So depositing into the lives of other people may be twofold. It could be that the first thing you need to know is them. Get to know them better. Get to know where you can pour into them and how you can pour in life to them. For me, on a daily basis, what I want to do for this community, for the people that I associate with through social media and all the different ways, is I want to be able to deposit hope and encouragement and joy and life into all of you. I want to be able to be a resource for you of encouragement when you're wondering how you're going to be able to get from point A to point B. I want to be a source of scripture, biblical wisdom, not just earthly wisdom. There are a lot of different ways that I want to deposit into your life. Understanding who you are better helps me to do that. So that is a kind of a two-pronged thing. And then one of the other questions that I have for you is to think about a past or similar experience and what was great about that season and what was disappointing. Because I do believe that the past leaves cues. I do believe that success leaves a pathway. So if you think about last holiday season, if we're going to use that example, what were some things that went great and what happened around those that caused them to be great? Or what was disappointing and what happened around that event that caused it to be disappointing? And how then can you as you are going in to your new season, how can you then be able to have a transition in that and purposefully, intentionally create more of what was great and help to take away from what wasn't so great? And if you were a leader or an entrepreneur and you're looking at this time of year and perhaps you had some events last year as a leader, or maybe your selling season as an entrepreneur wasn't as great, this is the time right now, before it gets any later, for you to look at what happened last year and be able to implement positives for that and make a note to yourself after your events are over, after your projects are finished, to do a recap of that and look over all of that information and make sure that you put into place things that will help you move forward in a more powerful way. Same kind of thing if you're planning your family dinner, because listen, it could be confusing, right? Who's bringing the cranberry sauce? Who's bringing the dressing? Who's bringing the pies and the cakes? And if last holiday you didn't even know if there was going to be pie or cake, or if you were what you were going to have, then this is the season maybe to inject a little bit of order or questioning, or just to help you feel better about that. You may not be in charge of that, but if you're not sure what you're supposed to be doing for a particular event or project, this is the time to raise your hand and say, hey, I could really use some instruction. I could use a little bit of help. Can you help me to know what I need to do so that I can make sure I do it well? And then one of the questions, how this works around being busy or purposeful, is this last question, and it's a big one. Sometimes we don't have a choice to say yes or no to something, if it's a work obligation, uh, or if it's a church obligation, family obligations. Some of those things we feel like we don't have the boundaries to be able to say yes or no to. Sometimes we do, but a lot of things in life, because of the work position or the family position or church position or business position we find ourselves in, you just don't have as much flexibility to say no or yes to. But this question is, if you are in the position where you have a choice between yes or no, to ask yourself this question: will this event, this project, the decision move me closer to living out the purpose God has for me in life, or will it take me further away? And that is not an easy question, because sometimes we are living out a position in our environment, and we feel like that the work is important, it's vital, it's crucial, it's valuable in the world. But when you begin to look at your particular place in God and what you're supposed to be doing in the earth, how you're supposed to be living out your gifts, it may not be on purpose for you. And this is where you may not be able to do anything about it this season, but you can begin to make the moves and make the changes to help you make the right decisions to be on purpose. And to really just have that as a continual question in your heart and in your mind as you volunteer, or as you make decisions or make commitments toward other things, is to not do those hastily. If it's a short term something and it's not going to take up a lot of time, and you can say yes, and it's going to be able to bring benefit and joy and life and hope and help to other people, then of course that's a great, easy yes. But if it's a long-term project, event, or responsibility, it's really important, even if it is such a good thing, to slow down long enough to say, is this just going to make me busy, or is it going to help me to live out my purpose? So those are just a few questions for you to ask yourself. If you have other questions about that you ask yourself, or that you've discovered about how to not be busy but to be purposeful, I'd love to hear back from you. You can put those into the comments. I would love to hear that. And again, if this has been helpful to you, I'd love a quick thumbs up or a like, and to let you know that this was profitable for you to listen to today. This last 10 minutes, 11 minutes, I really would appreciate it, because I want to create things that have meaning for you. Also, please join me again over on my website at donnawoolam.com. And if you are an ambitious Christian woman, and you are maybe an entrepreneur or a leader or in ministry, or you just have big dreams and big goals in your heart and in your head, think about taking advantage of my complimentary clarity call, where we can sit and talk about what you want to for an hour and help you get some clarity on your next steps. It's something that I offer to you with love and appreciation. It's not a sales call. It is a conversation. And then if it makes sense and you want to know more about it, and it seems like we're a fit, we can talk about what it would look like going forward. But don't feel like that you're going to get on that call and it's going to be a big sales push, okay? So, and you can find that at donnawoolam.com, Belief Revolution Coaching. Thanks so much for your time today. I just pray that the peace of God would guard you and keep your hearts today, that you would be surrounded by people who love you and care for you. As a good friend of mine, Cassidy, posted on her Facebook page yesterday, may you always have women who pray behind your back. And I'm thankful for those of you who pray behind my back. Have a blessed and wonderful living at my best day. Bye.